don't intend to go into programming code, but as you will see, it is something that is not that difficult, but not simple at the same time. Okay, face technology recently has been in the news. Uh, Undercovered, there are a lot of people actually making use of it. I think some of the chief people using it are not only China, but also the UK and various US places. So I think it is a good time to talk about this. Okay, next. Face technology or the process of face recognition can be generally divided into 4 steps. The first step is the detection of the face detection. I will go into more detail later on. The second step is face tracking, and this step is usually optional because it is not so important in the detection, in the recognition process itself, but it can be used to enhance the whole process. The third step is feature extraction. I will explain this later on. And final step is face recognition. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, that's a GIF, animated GIF. So you can see that this is face detection. Face detection is just to find out where in the image you can find something that looks like a face. Then from that something, something that looks like a face, you'll notice that there's a number above this red box. That number indicates the probability that there's a face there. Okay, so you can see it goes from 77% upwards to 99. So this guy has probably set a threshold at about 75%. Then when the probability is above this, it will just display his face. Where in the picture can we draw a box around something that looks like a face? You notice that when he turns around, he no longer looks like a face. He doesn't present something that looks like a face. So of course the property goes down and the box disappears. The next detection is, oh, wrong computer. Face tracking. Face tracking is once you got the face here. Can you see my mouse or not? Mouse cursor? Well, once you get a face here, you should basically be able to detect another face, or rather you should keep the box there, and if the face moves around, tracking means that the box will move with the face. Now in the case of this book down here, you see when he brings it up, then he recognizes the face, and when he turns the book around, some of the time, not all the time, or at least during the early stages, the box still registers that as a face. So that is really called tracking. Then the feature extraction. Once the face has been detected, you must change that face into something that the computer can understand. So this is just a graphic. This is a picture, there's a picture of a motorcycle on the left, and the feature extraction algorithm just means that it extracts information from this image and puts it on into some kind of some kind of metrics, and which stores whether this particular feature is there or not. If I'm going too fast, please stop and ask questions. I'm quite willing to answer questions because I understand this can be quite obtuse unless you've been working on it. Okay, so feature extraction is probably the most studied part of the face detection algorithm. So again, the thing that you want to detect, and you already have, remember, you already have a face detection algorithm, and the face detection algorithm says that, okay, there is a face around here. So the feature extraction algorithm will actually take this image, literally take this image of this face, and try to extract all the features that, that define the face as defined by this extraction algorithm. Then there is the face recognition process itself. Now, once you've got the features, you compare the features with a database which has which has a record of all the different features of all the different people. In the case of this video here, this animated GIF here, there are two people whom the algorithm has identified. One of them is this guy, Alan Grant. And you notice that previously it showed numbers but never showed a identity. Now in this case, they have compared the features with what is in the database and actually come up with the names of the people who are associated with those factors. And it has correctly identified these two as Alan Grant and Ellie, whatever, Settler or something like that. This video is from Jurassic Park 1. Okay, recap the whole process. Face detection starts with the image itself. The face detection finds a place where there is sufficient high probability that there is a face. This face goes through a process called feature extraction, which derives some representation, example, in a matrix. Then the face recognition compares this query representation with a database of reference representations from reference images. And the best match is presented as a face recognized. How's that? Does that make any sense? Hello? Hello? Okay, I see Bing Ching there. Hi, Bing Ching. Hi, Wee. If it doesn't make sense, please stop and tell me.
Oh, it does. No problem.
Okay, good. Thanks.
And can I just ask one question?
Please.
Far, who is good in face recognition? Which country is good in face recognition?
Face recognition, one of the best countries is China. China has probably put the most resources, anyway, it's got a lot of resources anyway, into face recognition because China has an ongoing, China got a very big population, and they have put a lot of, firstly, they survey a lot of sensitive areas in China. Secondly, they also use WeChat very extensively, and WeChat has a lot of applications which require authentication. It's not possible to put a fingerprint verifier on the smartphone, but you can actually put a face authentication on the smartphone itself. So where there's a lot of opportunity for China to research into face recognition, and so far China is probably the key country doing research into this area. Of course, the usual suspects are also doing things also, but China has a lot. China is also very strong in other things. For example, generally object recognition. There is a lot of research, even here in Singapore, by Chinese companies developing algorithms. Say, for example, you want to buy a T-shirt. Now, how do you know which of his product is a T-shirt? Say you want to buy a Givenchy T-shirt or whatever, and Givenchy T-shirt got one arm short, one arm long, something like that. So there will be a so-called intelligent algorithm that detects this type of T-shirts, and that will present that thing to you on the computer. So in order to actually distinguish whether something is a Givenchy T-shirt which doesn't exist, which I'm just making up as an example, or a particular face, you have to convert that picture into something recognizable by a computer. And once it's recognizable by a computer, it can be it can be, for example, categorized into a Givenchy t-shirt or somebody's, or a bald man's head, like in this case here. So yeah, without a doubt, our facial and object recognition generally is one of China's strong points.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, going on to the next.
Daniel,
Yes.
yeah, you based on a database. Let's say your data has 10 people. Then and a stranger come in, he will still get a certain percentage.
Yes. Yes.
Then what percentage you consider as out and in?
Okay, it depends on your threshold, right? Like for example, just now you saw the Jurassic Park thing, and I inserted my face into the Jurassic cast of actors. It predicts my face quite okay, but that does not mean that it will see my face all the time. What it predicts is it predicts the closest match to the query. So if, let's say, as you say, if there is no face inside, and the query isn't inside the database, okay, it will predict the closest, but most of the mechanisms have a way of saying the threshold. Okay, like for example, you can see here, this is 97.61%. Okay, if 97.61%, and this contains a human face. Okay, but if I want to talk about recognition, then I need to go back a bit. This one, this one. In this case, this particular program, anyway, I've played with it, so I know what the program is. There is what they use is they use distance to measure the difference. And the distance can be displayed here. Now, so it's a matter, the distance is something associated with the same, with the same square. There's a square from Ellie Sattler, and apparently Ellie Sattler is the closest. So you threshold that difference, and you can and you only display it when when that threshold, when that distance goes below that threshold. Okay, in this case they use distance measure. In other cases, they could use maybe something that categorizes the number. For example, you can use a SVC, a support vector classification. Support vector classification basically says, okay, let's say this is the space down here. Eddie Sattler is here. Alan Grant is here. So your query is here. Where is your query closest to? And it's closest to Eddie Sattler, or even gets into the Eddie Sattler domain, then you say it's Eddie Sattler. So it depends on your classification process, but there is usually a number associated with the classification process. It's not a pure, it may not be a pure go, no go. That means either it's in or it doesn't tell you anything at all. That's seldom the case. Did I communicate properly? PC, did I communicate properly? You're muted. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Maybe 10 minutes time, we go for a toilet break.
Oh, so fast, Jialat. Okay, 10 minutes. You tell us when to go.
Break.
Okay, then I proceed here. Okay, the best place on the internet to do study up or to research about this is this place called Pi Image Search. Okay, this is okay. I'm opening up this. I hope you can see it. Okay, it's this place on the internet where I get a lot of code to play with and to modify from. A lot of this is actually not new. It all exists in proper code, and especially at this place here. This guy has done a wonderful job of organizing it and making it accessible to everybody. Okay, how to, wait, is this the right way? Yeah, okay. Now, playing with the trying to implement the facial recognition on computer, you require several things lah. And most of the time you use Python as a language. OpenCV library. OpenCV library is originally from Intel, but now it's, and it's a very big library of real-time computer vision as well as matrix manipulation functions. Okay, there are other libraries which can be used together with OpenCV. Example, dlib, something called dlib. This one has very interesting routines as well. And of course, there is the framework itself, which is either PyTorch by Facebook or TensorFlow by Google. Okay, the funny thing is that a lot of these framework applications or framework applications are actually actually incorporated into some of the function calls of OpenCV as well as dlib. So to a large extent, you may not even need to do training. But there are some caveats to this statement. You may not even need to do training, but the caveat is that you must depend on the database that already exists for that particular application. In which case, it may not be optimal for your use. Okay, I'm going into a bit of detail on the different phases of face detection. The first one, remember I said, was face detection, where you actually look and find which places can probably be a face. Now, one way of detecting faces is to use a Haar cascade. A Haar cascade is Haar cascades. Haar cascades is an algorithm which has been developed to find different parts of the face. Here, the two eyes are orange, are green, and then the overall face is blue color. So by the time you have this green and you cascade into the overall blue rectangle for face, you're pretty confident that there's a face down there. Haar cascades can also detect other parts of the face, but it is basically to just detect the face only, or to detect the eyes or nose or mouth or something like that. This part is actually available as a single call in OpenCV. Another way, now this is a bit more complex now, but another way to detect a face is through, of course, deep learning. And this is actually the deep learning, trying to draw the deep learning algorithm that allows the network to recognize where on the image the face can be. You see that it itself is quite complicated, but actually it makes some intuitive sense. But I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to say that NMS and body box. Now, these white boxes, the boxes you see are places which could have a face in it. But you notice that some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger, and some of them are not very accurate. Like this one is pointing at this guy's ear, but it's still flat. It's because this type of the algorithms that generate bounding boxes are very general. So, and they will generate a lot of possible candidate for faces. So what you need to do after that is to do NMS, known as non-maxima suppression. Non-maxima suppression means basically you just get all these boxes and you suppress anything that's not a maxima. So after you suppress maxima, the most probable are these ones over here on stage 2.net. And then everything is regressed together. Since this box is within this box, this box can be cancelled. So in the end, what you get is you get something like that. So that is only algorithm to detect a face. That means here you've already just applied deep learning to detect a face. And that by itself already means that there is a CNN or CNN behind it. Okay, and what's CNN? Convolutional neural network behind the algorithm already. Okay, any questions? Again, feel free to ask. These things are not exactly, you won't actually find you only find all of this in technical websites. Of course, if you want to go even deeper, the implementation of it you find in academic papers, but that is a bit difficult. That's why I highly recommend this the Pi image search website, because they put a lot of stuff there for everybody to easily learn it. Okay, this is face detection alone. So any questions? No, ma? Okay, I continue. Bing Ching, is it time for your kopi break, or is it time for your kopi break?
Yeah, maybe you all want to go for a break, toilet break. Then you can log in again immediately.
That means I got to log out also lah.
Everybody go for toilet break. Then we come back, we can log in again immediately. I will start another session. Same ID and same password.
Okay.
Okay. Other question?
Any questions?
If you want to ask question, you must unmute yourself. Then you can talk. Otherwise, we can't hear you.
How long is the break? 10 minutes?
Immediately you will come back, because this one has only 40 minutes. So after the break, we will come in a new session, another 40 minutes.
Okay, how long is the break?
Immediate lah, no break lah actually.
Oh, immediate lah. Okay, okay. Wait, I need to log out and log in again. Okay.
Okay, immediate.
Okay.